Thank you so much, and my sincere appreciation and respect to all colleagues who are on the panel with us, and also to all the participants who have taken the time to join us. Really, to start with thanking the Global Interfaith Wash Alliance and Parmarth Niketan for organizing this really important event on World Environment Day, and also for inviting me to join you. I'd like to make four key points and really draw on from the children's perspective, because if I did not do that, I would be failing in my duty. Today, we celebrate World Environment Day amidst a global pandemic, and many of you have talked about it. This day serves as the UN's flagship day for promoting worldwide awareness and action for the environment. And with many of the Earth's ecosystems nearing critical tipping points and being challenged by climate change and now COVID-19, one thing is becoming increasingly clear. They both do not respect national boundaries, and both require countries to work together to find solutions. Furthermore, they also underscore the inextricable link between human health and the health of the planet. So it's very important that we focus on the immediate response to COVID-19 pandemic. We must not lose sight of environmental sustainability. The second point I'd like to flag is that children are the least responsible for climate change, yet they will bear the greatest burden of its impact. And in no uncertain terms, they continue to tell us that. They continue to tell us adults that we are failing them. The looming existential threat of climate disruption is real. It's in front of us. And as its impact intensifies over time, it is the children and young people of today who will face the worst effects. Increase in frequency and ferocity of extreme weather events such as cyclones and heat waves continue to threaten our children's lives and destroy infrastructure critical to their well-being. Globally, we know that close to 90% of the burden of disease attributable to climate change, such as cholera during floods, is borne by children under the age of 5. It's really essential for us to recognize the relationship between climate change, migration, and child rights too. Forced migration due to climate change-related hazards such as the rising sea level, storms, drought, to enable secure livelihoods, and such efforts displace a large proportion of children and their families in India. Vidarbha in Maharashtra, for instance, has been in the throes of farmer suicides and agrarian crises for over 2 decades. Increasing temperature and water shortage are hampering agriculture, resulting in forced migration of adults and children. When children are displaced, they can suffer impacts to their health, to their well-being. They have difficulty in accessing water, sanitation, shelter, and education. They also become very vulnerable to trafficking and sexual abuse. The Global Climate Risk Index 2020 has listed India as the 5th most vulnerable country to climate change. The report also claims that the highest number of deaths due to climate change are recorded from India. COVID-19 thus presents us with an opportunity to steer towards a path that tackles climate change, while laying a better foundation for a safer, healthier, more inclusive and resilient tomorrow. It is really important that we tap into the knowledge and the enthusiasm of our over 300 million young people in India with the necessary tools, knowledge, and power to advocate for themselves on climate change. The third key point I'd like to make is that climate and environmental sustainability strategy must focus on making children central to it. And that's what we are trying to do in UNICEF. Empowering children as change agents, advocating for a more resilient future, protecting children from impacts and shocks while addressing the need to reduce emissions and pollution in support of the commitments that governments have made throughout the world. And we have supported several practices and programs to ensure that children live in a safe and clean environment, while also involving them and getting their action For example, with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, we are developing a clean and green initiative for healthcare facilities by investing in environmentally sustainable infrastructure and practices. This is really to ensure that they are disaster resilient so that women and newborn services are not disrupted by events. In Maharashtra, water security issues are being addressed by training women farmers in drought-prone region on sustainable agricultural practices and budgeting water use and reuse. This initiative, which has reached about 10,000 households in Marathwada, focused especially on women-led households to promote the passing of livelihood and nutritional benefits from the heads of the households to their children. This year, as part of our World Children's Day initiatives, which we will see in the later part of the year, we want to organize a climate parliament. The aim is to identify child advocates passionate about environment who will really push our policymakers to understand and act on the priorities that they are setting. Finally, this year, the theme of World Environment Day is biodiversity. Faith leaders are critical to convey the message of an essentially diverse, interconnected planet for all. And I have heard from all of you your commitment to this issue, and we need it more. We need your commitment to be stronger. The theme biodiversity reminds us that every species is interconnected and interdependent. The diversity in environment is essential for us to survive and thrive. The critical role that faith leaders play in influencing sociocultural changes in the world has been very well recognized in all the efforts to eliminate disease, to get more girls in school, to reduce the stigma against women and the girl child. Without the commitment that we have had from faith leaders, we would not have reached where we have today. Yet a lot more needs to be done. UNICEF has been working closely with faith leaders across religions through Jiva and interfaith alliances across states in India to enable wide reach of critical messages during COVID-19 for sanitation and importantly for ending violence against children and reducing or ending child marriage. We are eager to work together with our faith leaders in fostering a sentiment to act for nature and therefore for every child. Children have the right to live in a world free from life-threatening effects of climate change. There is overwhelming scientific evidence on the dangers of climate change, and there are clear opportunities to alter its course. We have no excuse not to act ambitiously for our children. Thank you very much.